Hi folks, welcome to Urban Expeditions, where we begin here on the Forth and Clyde Canal at Hamiltonhill. This is Applecross Wharf right there, Applecross Basin right here, once known as Hamiltonhill Basin, and it served a great purpose in building the canal, as this was the clay quarry where clay was extracted from to help seal the canal here. And then the Hamiltonhill quarry became derelict, which is just behind that building right there. That is the Hamiltonhill Claypits. We're going to climb to the very top of that to view the landscape of Glasgow and what views can be had up there. Today we're going to go and view that canal house and see what goods are in store. Here we have some history to check out. The bustling scene, 1868. (1962) right here. Whitewashed canal buildings. Fascinating that they highlight the whitewashed, because whitewashed paint is on very old buildings to protect it from the heat. And yeah, if you see an old looking building that happens to have white paint, take a more in-depth look at it and you'll start to begin to notice that it is very old. Right, so here we go. This series of whitewashed canal buildings is the oldest remaining on any canal in Scotland. Wow. Built as warehouses, they were later used as workshops for the canal company. Nowadays this is the home of Scottish canals. Nearby, a series of wharfs with names like Rotterdam, Kirkcaldy and Leith gave a hint as to the destinations of some of the boats. Wow. Where is that? So in this insightful journey, you're going to see inside the canal house and its community cafe, and then I'm going to climb all the way to the top of Hamiltonhill Claypits to overlook the city. It's going to be a fun episode, and I'm very excited to see inside this historic building, built 1790. I'm currently standing in between George's Cross, Woodside, Possil that way, Hamiltonhill that way, Sighthill, Springburn that way, and Cowcaddon city centre that way. This is a very rich and historic area, the Forth and Clyde Canal, and it was Scotland's original industrial highway that helped build the city of Glasgow. Here are some additional notes before we get exploring. That is the Old Basin Tavern ruins right there that we're going to be covering in a future episode, so please do keep an eye out for that. That is the way to Port Dundas, and there'll be a very unique video down that way to keep an eye out for. That is the Rockvilla ruins that I've previously documented in an episode, so check out the channel for that. And this is the historic canal house. It gives me an old American impression, which makes me think if there was ever any crime on the canal. I'm not sure that I've ever read about that. If the industrial workers had to put up with, say, bandits on the canal. I doubt it. I've never came across that narrative in the literature, but I wonder. Crime must have taken place. So 1790 this canal house was built, and it has remained all this time. The oldest canal building in Scotland. That is fascinating. The Canal House. I used to walk by here about 7-8 years ago at night time. I would take this route and it was very different. This building was abandoned and there was a gate there blocking people from going into the Claypits. I think that was the case. So that's the historic Canal House, the Canal Keeper's house, built 1790. Fascinating. And we're climbing a little hill to find this interesting looking building. Now I'm actually above the Canal House. Interesting. The old wall. It's just very nice. It's a very nice little cafe and building. Home on the water, some history here. When the old Basin house was built in the 1790s, this stretch of the canal was a buzzing terminus with canal men loading and unloading the flotilla of boats passing in and out of both directions. Engineer Hugh Baird lived here, enjoying the perfect aspect to keep tabs on the numerous businesses he owned in the area. Wow. Including the tavern across the bridge. Baird, so the story goes, drew up plans for the Union Canal in 1813. That's an old picture. We're going to go that way and climb the top of the hilltop in a second, but just admiring the scenery before we step inside. I'm going to grab a coffee and maybe something else. Let's see. It's just such a admirable, nice little place. I wish there was more of this stuff around. But let's do it. Coffee now, and on the other side of that door it says toilets this way, so we can actually use toilets too. Wow, this looks a modern addition. Yeah, definitely. An initiative developed by the Scottish Canals with the community groups of Postle Park, Rockvilla, Hamiltonhill, Woodside, Wester Common and North Kelvin, linking neighbourhoods around the canal. So Forth Hill Basin, away at West of Common Flats. But where was that other waterway? Must be that, the Hamiltonhill slip. That must be the waterway that I saw on the previous map that looked like a pond. Please comment about this slip, as I would like to know more about that. Anyway, if you would like to read this. Puddling clay. And here is an aerial view that is quite old. You see the Partick Thistle Stadium. So the Partick Thistle Stadium is just right there, and here is Glasgow. So all beneficial information about health and details relating to wildlife, flowers. A creeping thistle has lilac pink flower heads. Interesting. The red fox. So now we're going to climb all the way to the top of this hill here, which was once an old Glasgow quarry, all the way up there. I usually take this path that's been made by people taking shortcuts, but we're going to take the nature trail towards West of Common, and then you turn round to Hamiltonhill. This little bridge, which I believe goes over a watercourse, as that's what it looks like. So straight ahead we see Kelvin Grove.
bet from where they're sat, they can a lot of that. It's all about that.
So that was very nice views. It's much better on a summer day or even a rainy day. We'll go down this shortcut.